Welcome to Title II reporting for the 2019 and 20. I am Marjorie Suko. I am a consultant in the Professional Services Division at the Commission. I coordinate Title II for the state. I have Fifi Lau with me. She is our Research Data Specialist. She's also in the Professional Services Division. She designs all our Commission dashboards, including Title II. What are the topics covered in this video? We will discuss overall Title II data collection and reporting. We will discuss data elements that will be collected for the 2019-20 Title II report. As we discuss data elements, we will talk about the changes that happened to some of the sections, such as clinical hours by route, enrolled candidates, and program completers. Once I'm finished with the slide deck, Fifi will walk us through the Title II dashboards. Title II reporting phases. Title II starts in mid-September and goes all the way through April 30th. In between, there are two distinct phases in which different types of information is collected at different websites. Phase 1 is the program completer and enrolled data collection, in which teacher preparation programs submit individual level data. Pearson is our contractor. They have a dedicated website for this Title II process. They opened the website in September, and that website will remain open until April 2021. Phase 2 is the institutional and program report card, in which teacher preparation programs submit aggregate level data. Westat is our federal contractor. They developed a paperless web-based system called the IPRC. Westat opened the website in February, and that will remain open until April 2021. Here is the detailed information of Phase 1 and what happens between mid-September through April 30th. Institutions had mid-September through February 5th to download data collection worksheet, fill out all the information, upload the data collection worksheet, and get your matching report. Once we have 100% response from all our teacher preparation programs, Pearson will send the master file to Westat. That happens sometime by March 31st. At the same time, teacher preparation programs will also get their final pass rate data. Westat will then upload the pass rate into your IPRC, and you will have 2 weeks to finalize your report and submit your report by April 30th. Here is a sample data collection worksheet for this year. Pearson customizes this data collection worksheet for each individual teacher preparation program. There are a lot of data validation built into this worksheet, so you will not be able to make any changes to the worksheet. As you can see, you see your 3-digit code, which does not change from year to year. It's always constant. And you will see your institution's name, and then the columns that are color coded. The first 5 columns in blue, that's the information about your teacher candidates. Pearson has shown 4 sample records to show how they want you to enter the data. Social Security number, no hyphen necessary. You can enter them as string. Last name, first name, upper lowercase is fine. If you have a middle initial, enter the middle initial. Date of birth, they want to follow the 2-digit format, 2 digits for month, 2 digits for date, and 2 digits for year. Moving to the purple column is the program type. In California, we have 3 different types of program: traditional route, university intern route, and district intern route, and you select the appropriate code for your candidates. The next column is the reporting group. You will see 1, 2, and 3. Groups 1 and 2 are your enrolled candidates. Group 3 is your program completers for this year. The next column is the basic skills other than CBEST. This column is not a federal mandate. However, from time to time, we do get requests from legislature or from stakeholders. Do we know what % of our candidates come through non-CBEST route? As you can see, as you know, there are several routes starting from ACT, SAT, AP courses, CSU Early Assessment Program, CSET Multiple Subject, plus CSET Writing. So you will see a drop-down menu and select one option for your candidate. Please do not write in your own option because it will give you an error message. The last three columns in green are your credential information about your candidate. Title 2 is a requirement for teaching credentials only. So you will see M for multiple subject, S for single subject, and E for educational specialist. So you select the appropriate code. And the next column is how your candidates are fulfilling subject matter program. Are they coming through a subject matter program? Is a program route indicate by P? Or if they're taking CSET exam, or the exam route indicate with an X. The last column is the content area code. There is data validation built in. For example, if you select multiple subject, it'll give you only general subjects. When you select single subject, it will bring all the relevant single subject content code. Here is a sample matching report. This matching report is in PDF, so you will not be able to make any changes, but this is for your review. The first few columns are all the information you provided to Pearson in your data collection worksheet. Pearson has done a rigorous matching using all the information you provided, and the last three columns for each assessment they have given as a status, pass or fail. So you can focus your attention to this report and make sure all your candidates are showing up with this matching report. For any reason, if Pearson cannot find your candidates in the exam database, they are going to show up in this exception report. This is also in PDF, so you cannot make any changes to this report. Here again, you can pay attention to why they did not match. Invariably, there are two reasons. Sometimes the last name has changed, or the SSN has transposed. So you can make the changes in your original data collection worksheet and upload your data collection worksheet back to Pearson. Every time you upload a data collection worksheet, it's going to rewrite your old worksheet, and your most updated worksheet will be available on Pearson's. Then Pearson will run the matching report again, and you will get the matching report within 5 business days. Here is a sample assessment final summary pass rate. This is a federal template we had to follow. So you will see your institution code, institution name, assessment code, assessment name. Test company, all our exams are through Pearson. So you will see number 2 in column E. Then for each assessment again, we have to show low score, high score, a cut score. And then the column group, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You submitted data for groups 1, 2, and 3. Since Title 2 is an annual data collection, you have already provided program completed information to Pearson the past 2 years. So they are your groups 4 and 5. So Pearson will automatically update the pass rate, and then they will provide that information in this final summary pass rate. Moving on, for each assessment and each group, we have to show the number of people who took the exam, average scale score for that exam, and number of people who passed, and the pass rate. So this is your final pass rate report. I would recommend you make a copy for your file, because this is the information Pearson will send it to Westat, and Westat will upload in your section 3 of your IPRC. This finishes phase 1. Now we'll move on to phase 2. Title 2 reporting requirement came out of Higher Education Act. This Higher Education Act was originally signed in 1998 and amended in 2008. That added a lot of substantial changes both to teacher preparation programs as well as to the state. Sections 205 through 208 specifically ask for a lot of data elements for teacher preparation programs to report to the U.S. Department of Education on an annual basis. Westat is our federal contractor. They work with teacher preparation programs and U.S. Department of Education. The the web-based tool called the IPRC was developed by Westat, and all programs use IPRC. Institution and program report card. As I mentioned, there are 3 different types of programs in California. Traditional route are the student teaching model. Alternative IHE based are the university intern programs. Alternative not IHE based are our district intern programs. All teacher preparation programs submit their reports to the same reporting system. Reports are due on April 30th. The next few slides are screenshot from IPRC. First, you will get your login information from Westat in February. Once you enter your username and password, it will take you to the multi-factor authentication. By now, we are familiar with multi-factor authentication. What it is to provide a second layer of protection, because we are all accessing federal databases. So they just want to make sure the right programs are accessing the databases. Here you need a 6-digit verification code. There are 2 ways you can get this code. Either you can download an authenticator application on your smartphone, or you can get the code via email. Either way, once you get the 6-digit code, you enter the 6-digit code, and that will take you to your welcome screen. In this example, where they're showing Utah State University, and as you can see, there are 2 reports. Another requirement came out of the 2008 amendment was institutions with 2 separate programs must submit 2 separate reports. In this example, they have a traditional report and an university report, university intern report. Now we'll go through sections. Section 1 is the longest section. It's called the program information section, starting with admission requirements. The same questions are asked for undergraduate and postgraduate programs. You will see there are 15 data elements listed, starting from transcript to fingerprint to ACT, SAT, essays needed, recommendation needed, with the 2 columns, admission and completion, with yes or no options. So you will check yes or no based on if they are required for your admission into your program, or exiting the program, or completing your program. Here again, the same questions are asked for postgraduate programs. Then there is a question specifically on GPA. What is the minimum GPA required for admission into your program? Again, what is the minimum GPA needed to enter into your program? The next question is, what's the minimum GPA required for completing the program or exiting your program? Moving on to supervised clinical experience. Here again, Westat made some minor changes, so now the information is coming out really good. In prior years, same questions were asked for both student teaching route and intern route, so that was pretty confusing. Now there are separate questions. Are there programs with student teaching models? So if you indicate yes, there are 2 questions. Number of clock hours supervised clinical experience required prior to student teaching, and number of clock hours required for student teaching. Then you have 5 questions are number of faculty and students participating in experience. The first question asks number of full-time equivalent faculty supervising clinical experience. Here they want you to convert full-time to a FTE calculation. For example, if you have 2 part-time faculty of 0.5 FTE, that will add up to 1 FTE. But if you have other fractions, Westat has built in an optional tool where you can put in your fraction and get your FTE calculation. For other 3 questions are pretty straightforward, no calculations necessary. Number of adjunct faculty supervising clinical experience, number of cooperating teachers or K-12 staff supervising clinical experience, and number of students in supervised clinical experience. In addition to providing numbers, if there are other information you want to talk about clinical experience, you can type in your information here. Always run spell check. Moving on to enrollment and program completers. Here again, Wested made some changes. I think that is a really good change because this is a popular section and we are always asked about race and ethnicity of our enrolled candidates and program completers. In prior years, enrolled and program completers were treated as two distinct groups. So for programs with 12-month long, candidates started as enrolled candidates. At the end of the program, they became program completers. So we couldn't count them as enrolled. So we couldn't get a good full picture of how many candidates were enrolled in a teacher preparation program. And also ethnicity information was collected only for enrolled candidates, not for program completers. With this new change, now we get race, gender, ethnicity information for both total enrolled candidates as well as program completers. As you can see, there are two columns. One is for total enrolled candidates and program completers as a subset of enrolled candidates. It's for gender and the same setup for race and ethnicity. Moving on to teachers prepared by subject area. No changes made for this section. And once in a while, we get questions on what is a CAP code. This is a classification of instructional program codes. Since Title II is common to all 50 states, they're trying to standardize the subject area. So CAP code is there for reference, but you can select the subject area which is relevant to your candidate and enter data. And if we do not have specific subject area, you can leave that cell blank. Next section is the teachers prepared by academic major. Here again, slight changes were made. In prior years, this section was for all teacher preparation programs. Since it stands for academic major from undergraduate level, some institutions had a hard time because they didn't have that information. So now the question is, do participants earn a degree upon completion of the program? So this is more like integrated program. Candidates get a degree and a credential at the end of the program. Could be a bachelor degree and a credential or a master degree and a credential. So you will respond yes. And then here again, same setup, a table with 3 columns, CAP code, academic major, and numbers prepared. And here again, try to match your academic major with these categories provided. For example, life sciences and biological sciences will go together, physics and physical science. So try to match as much as possible. There is an academic major called other. Use that category sparingly, because if you enter data into that category, we cannot analyze it. So it's pretty much meaningless data at that point. Moving on to program assurances. There are 6 questions asked with yes or no. So when you check it here, the only thing I want to point out, when you respond, be prepared to provide documentation and evidence for your responses. The federal government can come back and request evidence. So make sure when you're checking yes, make sure you have enough documentation to provide. So that finishes section 1. Now we are moving to section 2, annual goals. The purpose of this section is for teacher preparation programs who offer math, science, and special education. How do they respond to teacher shortage areas? So if you do not have single subject math, science, or special education, you don't have to respond to the section. Here again, I want to point out, federal government consider EL as one of the content area, but as we know, in California, all teaching credentials embed EL, so it is not a separate licensing area. So if you have a math program, it's a program offered in the subject. So you will check yes, describe your goal. Here again, it's open-ended. You can say we want to increase 5 math teacher, we want to enroll 5 science teacher, whatever your goal is. And did you meet your goal? Yes or no? And describe the strategies to achieve goals. So now it is again pretty straightforward. And this section asks for last year's goal, current year's goal, and next year's goal. Again, this is for teacher shortage areas, math, science, and special education. Now we'll move on to section 3, pass rate. We talked a lot about in the beginning. This is the some area you worked in from September through February between the teacher preparation programs and Pearson. So you have already provided this information to Pearson, and Pearson will send it to Westet, and Westet will upload this information in mid-April. So you can work on all other sections once Westet uploads the exam data in mid-April. You will have 2 weeks to finish all your editing, downloading a report, and finish your report. So here the pass rate is going to look slightly different. This is how once it is uploaded, you will see for every assessment, you will see the number taking the test, average scale score, number passing the test, and a pass rate. Here again, for each assessment, we have to show this information. In this example, you see there is a 1 in column 1, but the rest of the columns are blank. Because the reason is if the number of test takers are fewer than 10, to maintain confidentiality, we have to suppress this information. So when you're reviewing your pass rate section, make sure whether you have information. If the number of test takers are more than 10, you'll see this information. If it is fewer than 10, the 3 columns will be blank. The next section is the summary pass rate. As we mentioned, you have the recent program completers and prior 2 years, and Pearson will calculate a summary pass rate for all 3 years. Moving on to section 4 is the low performing section. Here there are 2 questions. Is your teacher preparation program currently approved or accredited? Our teacher preparation programs are accredited by the Commission, so yes. And some institutions, in addition to state accreditation, they also have other national accreditation, so you can indicate that. And the second question is your teacher preparation program currently under a designation as low performing by the state? It's a yes or no question. This refers to the current accreditation status. If an institution has major stipulation, that is considered low performing. So before you check this yes or no, please verify your accreditation status and respond accordingly. Moving on to section 5, use of technology. There is no changes made to this section. You will see 4 questions. Does your teacher preparation program prepare teachers to integrate technology effectively into curriculum instruction, use to collect data, to manage data, and analyze data? So here again, yes or no questions. Here again, I want to point out again, when you respond yes, always remember you have to have documentation or evidence to provide. And then there's also a text box. Every time you see a text box, either you can type in your information directly into the text box, or you can copy and paste. Regardless, always run spell check. Moving on to section 6, teacher training. Again, this section used to be yes or no questions. Now they're open-ended. Provide a description of activities that prepare general education teachers to teach students with disabilities effectively. Here again, this is a text box, so always run spell check. We have come to the last section. It is the contextual information section. This is an optional section. Title 2 is public data. So this information is available on our Title 2 webpage. It's available on federal website. So this is a good place to discuss if you have any unique programs about your teacher preparation program. Potential teacher candidates or researchers or media, they could be looking at this information. So this is an ideal place if you want to talk about any unique features about your program. And here I want to point out a couple of the features as you're working through IPRC. On the right-hand side, you will see various sections listed. You can go as a linear way, section by section, or you can jump around, but always remember to save the information you entered. You will see a red dot. That means you are in progress. Your section is in progress. This page is in progress. And once you're done, you click Save, so the information will be saved. But once you have done all your editing, review, you have done the review, when it's complete, then you can click on this page is complete. So that finishes the various sections in IPRC. Now we have a couple of slides, data quality features built into this IPRC. In this example, once you have entered all your information, it's going to bring you a certification checklist. In this example, introduction section, the page must be saved as completed. So you have saved the page, but it's not been completed. So you go back to the section and then click this button. This page is completed. Then this red dot will become green dot, and also this pie will move accordingly. So this is a kind of a checklist for you to go through so that you can fix all the edits before you can certify a report. I don't have a slide for the certification page, but it will ask for name and title of two persons, one who worked on the report and one who reviewed the report. The name, if you worked on the report, your name and your title, and if your director or dean or a provost reviewed the report, that person's name and title. Before you certify, I will always encourage make a PDF, download an entire report for your file. And once you click the certify button, your report becomes read-only. You will not be able to make any changes. This slide is another requirement. This is a state mandate. Assembly Bill 2086 was signed in 2010, more than 10 years ago. This requires teacher preparation programs to publish pass rate of all assessment on your web page. Since you have already done all the hard work for the Title II, which is a federal mandate, you could always use this information to take care of Assembly Bill 2086. So for now, you should have a pass rate from 2018-19 report. After April 30th, you will have your 2019-20 report. So what I would recommend is just put a link to the Commission's Title II dashboards, because the dashboards have pass rate for your institution, or you can download an IPRC and you can post your IPRC on your web page. This slide has my contact information. Email is the best way to reach me. We also have a dedicated mailbox for Title II, title2@ctc.ca.gov. We have Pearson and Wested's email also. They also have a toll-free phone number. The final slide with some Title II websites, starting from the Secretariat, the federal website, state report cards, our Title II web-based, the data dashboard website. I encourage you to kind of explore some of these web pages.
I will demonstrate where you can find the Title II data on the Commission's website. Title II data are available on the Commission's Title II website and in the Commission's set of accreditation data dashboards accessible through the Accreditation Data System, in short, the ADS. I'll start first with the Title II website. The Title II website focuses on reported data in 3 areas: state trends, state highlights, and data by institution. The dashboards now include 2018-19 data. So now on my shared screen is the Commission's homepage, which I hope you are all familiar with. Feel free to follow along using your own devices as I go through this demo. The easiest way to access the Title II dashboards from the Commission's homepage is through the Data and Reports link. You can also find the Title II website in the Program Sponsors section, but let's take the easy way. If you are following along, go ahead and click the Data and Reports link, then click Data and Reports highlighted in orange. On the Data and Reports page, there will be a list of topics. Click on Annual Report Cards Title II. On the main Title II page, there is information about Title II and new information relating to the reporting process. Additionally, there are 3 sections: dashboards and annual report cards, background information, and contacts. To view the Title II data, click Dashboards and Annual Report Cards. This section will provide you dashboard links, as well as the PDF reports. We'll explore all 3 data dashboard pages, so let's start with State Trends. Here on the State Trends page, you can view data trends on 5 different topics. With the 2018-19 report, we now have 5 years of Title II data on the dashboards. Let's take a look at the data trends for program completers. You can see on the bar graphs an upward trend of program completers in the last 5 years. If you hover your mouse over the total, you can view the % change from the prior year. Data are also available by program route. To view trend data by segment and/or for your institution, click the Institution tab. The line graphs here display trend data for program completers by segment and by program route. To view your institution's program completer trend data, go to the Institution Name drop-down menu and select your institution. Let's go back to the main Title II page, close this tab, and next click on State Highlights. On the State Highlights page, data will be defaulted to the most recent academic year. You can also select prior year data as well. So scrolling down, you can see information for the number of institutions that submitted Title II data for 2018-19. There were 94 institutions, and Figure 4 lists the institutions. If you scroll further down, there's data on the number of institutions by reports and by programs, and they are disaggregated by program route and by segment. Scrolling further down, there's information on entry and exit requirements reported by institutions, and you can select by program route. Below that, there is candidate and program completer data by program route, by segment, and data is also reported by gender identity and race and ethnicity. Below, there's data reported for supervised clinical experiences, and you can select the type of clinical experience information you want to view. Scrolling down, you can find data on the number of teachers prepared by subject area and by academic major. Below that, there are data related to annual goals for math, science, and special education, specifically on how many institutions met their goals. And below that, you can view teacher certifications exams pass rate by exam type, examinee group, and by program route. Let's close this tab and go back to the main Title II page, and this time explore data for a specific institution. So click on Reports by Institutions. Again, the academic year will be defaulted to the most recent year. For this demo, I will select Biola University. You can select your own institution. I will use the search box to type in some keywords so the institution can pop up quickly. Select the institution, then click the arrow. So on this page, you can reselect a different year or an institution at any time, but we'll stick with these selections. This dashboard is organized in 4 sections: program mission and context, candidate information, goals, assurances, tech and training, and teacher certification examinations. Let's take a look at this section. Here, there's information about your programs that were reported in Title II. Admission information. However, starting in 2018-19, formal admission information is no longer required for Title II reporting, but you can view the data reported for the prior years. Below that, entry/exit requirements, including by GPA, and contextual information that your institution reported. Let's scroll back up and go to the next section, which is candidate information. Here you can view your enrolled candidate by program route, gender identity, and race and ethnicity. Below that, you can view your institution's supervised clinical experience information that were reported, the number of teachers prepared by subject area and academic major, and also in this section, program completer data. So starting in 2018-19, Title II now collects demographic data for program completers. Scrolling back up, let's take a look at the next section, which is goals, assurances, tech and training. So this section is pretty straightforward. You can view your institution's goal information by selecting the drop-down menu. View your institution's reported assurances, use of technology, and teacher training information. Since there are a lot of text in this section, you can hover over the text to read its entirety. Scrolling back up, let's take a look at the last section, which is teacher certification and examinations. So here in this section, you can view your institution's pass rates by exam type, examinee group, and by program route. Similarly, you can also find your institution's Title II data on the Commission set of Accreditation Data Dashboards, or in short, ADD. To access the dashboards, you do need to have an Accreditation Data System, or the ADS account. If you are familiar with the annual data submission process, you may already have an ADS account. So to get to the ADD, I'm going to close this tab so that we are back on the main Title II page. Scroll up and click on the program sponsors link. Then select accreditation. I'm going to scroll down the page until I reach accreditation data dashboards. So in this section, you can find out what data are available on the ADD, which will include Title II. You can access it by clicking the ADS hyperlink, and that will take you to the ADS login page. So I will actually switch over to our test page for this demo, but it will look exactly the same when you access the ADS website. So on the ADS login page, you will need to enter your email and password. If you do not have one, you can create one by clicking the Create an Account link. After you create an account, you will receive an email to confirm your account. To complete the process, your unit head, which may be your dean or superintendent, will need to also give you permission to access your institution's data. If you are creating a new account, make sure you use an email with your institution's domain address. If you use an email with a Gmail or Yahoo domain, your unit head will need to search and confirm who you are in the system first before giving you permission to view your institution's data. And also, just to clarify, the general public will not be able to access your institution data through the ADS website. Only individuals affiliated to a commission-approved institution and with the unit head's permission can access that data. So I'm going to enter the email and password. Sign in. So after you log in, you should see your institution listed on the welcome page. If you do not, that means that your unit head did not provide you permission yet, and you may want to follow up with your unit head. So click on the institution link, then click on the Data Dashboard button. When you come to this page, it may take about a minute for the dashboard to load, so please be patient. This is due to the amount of data available on this set of data dashboards. You notice that there are two user guides, a Part 1 and Part 2, and a keyboard guide for accessibility users. For guidance on using the dashboards, I encourage you to take a look at the Part 2 document. So after the dashboard finishes loading, review the overview page. Here you can see the type of information available on the dashboards. So for Title II data, click the icon above Annual Report Card. Here on this page, select the academic year. Again, this will be defaulted to the most recent year, but you can select any prior year data. Then click the arrow. This dashboard page should look familiar to you with the 4 tabs. So you can go through the Title II data that your institution reported and certified. I would like to also point out that RECA and TPA passwords are reported in Title II, and they will be available in the Assessment section. So if you click on the icon above Assessments, you will come to the default RECA page. There is also a tab for TPA. Click that to view the TPA pass rates for your institution. And that brings us to the end of the demo. If you have any further questions, please send an email to title2@ctc.ca.gov. Thank you for watching.